So today we're going to be looking at the Embody set by Sculpted and Perma Blend. This is the Embody set, and they just released this. This is created by Carla over at Sculpted along with Permablend, and it is something that Carla has put together through all of her research through color theory for working in lips. So there are two that we're just releasing this set. It is Embody and Enhance. I'm going to do Enhance in another video. So for now, we're just going to look at Embody. And so let's just open this up. First of all, let's talk about this box. The box itself is so beautifully done. The graphics are beautiful. Everything about it, I think, is really nice. It's sleek. It has a really nice velvety kind of feel to it. So I really like that. The box shouldn't make a difference, but it's something I really like. I appreciate the attention to detail that went into this. So when you open it up, there is this in here. So this is a chart of the colors, right? And there's a lot of information here. I'm going to go ahead and admit that I have no idea what she's talking about here because I have not taken Carla's lip class yet, or her color theory class. And the reason for that is I was waiting for this set to come out so that I could follow along and play along with the set. So I saw Carla speak for the first time at SPCP 2 years ago, and she discussed working with dark lips. She discussed the different types of melanin, the two different types of melanin that occur in lips, and how to successfully work with them and neutralize them. And I will admit I was very skeptical at first because for a very long time we weren't able to do that in the permanent makeup business. We were always taught that you can go to a certain Fitzpatrick number or to a certain darkness of lip, and then after that you're just not able to tattoo them. It's not doable. And we saw people over the years, using oranges to neutralize lips, make them a little lighter. But still, even at that point, there was still a certain degree that I would not go past. And so I started watching Carla do these, case studies with darker and darker and darker lips. And I was getting very nervous because I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. But she doesn't just have the experimentation behind her. She's got the science too. And I learned a lot during that presentation. And I said to myself, you know what? I really want to take this class, but I'm going to wait because I bet you there's more to come. And she did not disappoint. So what I've gathered from watching her posts and following her and things like that is that she has really developed a system where you are looking at, I don't know if you could see it here. So where you're looking at the colors of the original lip and using that to determine what colors you're going to use to modify and adjust and neutralize. And that's what she goes into all through here. There's a lot of science behind this. And so it's definitely not something that I recommend for beginners. I think that you don't have to have 10 years in the business to do lip neutralization. I think that you have to have a good, strong fundamentals. You have to have a good, strong understanding of color theory. And if you understand how this color theory works, by taking Carla's class, of course, then I don't see why someone new to the industry can't do it. But when I say someone new or inexperienced in the industry, the things that you're taught in a basic fundamentals class is not going to be enough, right? Because we know that lips are extremely tricky. And this is a fairly new, I'll call it technology. It's not really a technology, it's more of a technique, right? It's a science-based, biology-based technique. But if you have not learned those skills yet, this is not something that you want to play around with because you're going to run into trouble. So I'm off of my disclaimer there for that. So let's take a look at the colors. Now I just got these. Like I said, I have not taken the class yet because I was waiting for these to be released. And so Sculpted, Carla along with Sculpted has two classes out. There's a lip neutralization class and there is a color theory class. And I will be taking both of those just because, like I said, I was waiting for these to come out. And so let's take a look in here. So this is the set. And these are beautiful. So there are 7 colors in this set, plus this called Adjust. It's a dilutant. And so this is, if you look in the chart, there's times and reasons when she wants you to dilute the pigment. And so that's what that is for. Just as a side note, you should never dilute with anything different than what the manufacturer recommends. So if the manufacturer recommends a certain product to dilute with, then that's what you should dilute with, because it's going to disperse the pigment the best. If you mix dilutants from another company, they may not work with the carriers in the pigment as well, and they will not disperse as well, and you're not going to get the best results. So what we're looking at here is we've got bases, and she explains in this chart over here how to use each of the bases, and then mixing the bases together and mixing them with the modifiers to get the desired results. So again, I'm not going to go into all of that in this video because you know, I have not studied her particular method, and also because there's no time for something like this in this video. Her course is incredibly intensive, so it is way more than what I can explain in a few seconds. But what I want to do is take these out, do some drawdowns, and get a good look at the colors and show them to you, so that if you're thinking about buying these, that you've got a whole unboxing video to go with to see if these are the right choice for you. So let's get started. All right, so if you've never done drawdowns before, this is just a simple setup for drawdowns. I have a black line that I put across here on my printouts, and that is to see the opacity of the color. Here I'm just using this sheet of paper because the drawdowns that I print out for myself only have 3, and I wanted to be able to fit everything on the same page for you. So we're just gonna be doing from here. So first, you always want to make sure that you shake your pigments really well. I'm starting with Mod 1. And this is a really creamy yellow. So we can see here, it's a very creamy looking yellow, whereas this one, base one, is more of like a canary yellow, a vibrant yellow. So we can tell right away just by looking at it that this one's going to have titanium in it. There's definitely white in it, and it is the first ingredient on the list back here. So they were really good, and they put all of the ingredients in here right on the back. But usually with Permablend, you can scan this little QR code, or you can go to the website and you'll be able to find the SDS sheets, and that'll tell you everything that's in there. And you should always know what's in your pigments, because when you are formulating for different reasons, you want to know exactly what's in the pigment that you're using. So here, and then just as a disclaimer here too, with the Embody set, these are for lip neutralization, lightening and changing the color of darker lips, things like that. And so there is a formula that is used here, and again, I have not yet taken the class, so I was waiting for this set to come out. And so since I don't have that information, I'm not going to be talking about when and why and where you would use these colors. I'm just going to talk about the color themselves. So like I said, we can see from the bottle that this is a pretty creamy yellow. It's definitely a high titanium color, and so titanium lends opacity, and so that's going to give that color a lot of opacity. It's not going to be a sheer color. So when I do my drawdowns, first I put a drop down, then I just dip in water, and I always kind of squeeze it out a little bit because I don't want it to be too wet. And then I grab the color and draw it down. And so what we're looking at here is this is going to be your mass tone. This is the color at its full strength. This is the color in its purest form, and then as it becomes diluted, we can see the undertone of the color, and we can see what it looks like when it is less saturated. And so even though this is a very creamy color in the bottle, it's a very bright color once it's on the paper, and so it is deceiving. I just want to point out that it is deceiving to judge your colors by what they look like in the bottle, because when we take them out and we put them on the paper, when we take them out and we swatch them on skin, they're going to look different. So it's really important if you're working with new colors, or any colors really. Like, it doesn't matter how long you've been in permanent makeup. It doesn't matter if you read the ingredients and you see what colors are in the back. Always do a drawdown on your colors so that you can really get a feel for the mask tone and the undertone. This is Mod 2. And again, this is a very creamy looking color, so it's going to have a lot of white in it. And again, white is the first ingredient on the list. Just going to dip, squeeze, and draw it down. This color has a really nice peach tone to it. And then as we get down to the bottom, you can see it's starting to get really orange. So again, in the bottle, it looks like a very kind of, I don't want to say salmon, but like a salmon leaning pink, like corally salmon, but very light in value. But you can see down here, that is not the same color that is in the bottle. That's a much richer tone in that color. And here I would call this much closer to a true salmon or a true coral. It's a really pretty color. And then as we draw it down and we see it in its diluted form, its less saturated form, you can see it's got a pretty strong orange base to it. The next one is Mod 3. And again, this is, I would say this to me looks a lot like a flamingo pink. It's a creamy pink. I can definitely see that there's white in it. It definitely looks creamy to me, but it definitely has like a flamingo kind of tone to it. Let's see what that looks like. Now, right off the bat, that looks very similar to what it is in the bottle. It's a very light creamy color, but let's pull it down and see what we get. So what this looks like to me is a lot more bubblegum looking. It's definitely like a really pretty pink. This makes me think of like baby showers and just soft pink things. Here in the bottle, to me, it looks more like a flamingo kind of color. Here on the paper, it definitely looks more like a baby pink or a bubblegum pink. So next is base 1. And like we said before, this one is a much brighter yellow than Mod 1. And in the ingredients here, yellow is going to be our first ingredient, and then white is coming in somewhere a little lower. All right, so let's get a look at this one. Again, just a quick dip in the water, squeeze it out, and draw it down. This is a really bright yellow. Super bright yellow. This is, to me, in this lighting, very like banana yellow. And then as it starts coming down here, it starts looking a little bit more like it does over here. So it's got a really strong, bright yellow to it that doesn't really diminish too much. If you look at this yellow here, this one is, you know, there's not a lot of contrast between the yellow and the white. Here, even diluted, it's still a pretty strong yellow. Next is base 2. This one is base 2, and it is a creamy looking orange, almost like a creamsicle. Always give your pigments a really good shake. They can settle, especially if you don't use them very often. So just like the other colors that we looked at, this color in the bottle looks really creamy. really like a lot of white. It's very creamy, but once we put it down here, we can see that it is a really intense kind of neon orange, really bright, beautiful orange, and it holds up its color as we dilute it. So this color is base 3, and this one has white as its first ingredient, even though it's a really strong reddish orange. And so let's see what this one is going to change, if it changes. So I would say that this is kind of like an orangey red, or like a true red, China red. And so once we draw it down, you can see it's very strong in its mass tone. The mass tone does not change very much. From here to here, we don't really see that much of a change. Even in the intensity, it stays pretty strong, which is pretty awesome. This is going to be a really powerful color in your toolbox for sure. And then this one is base 4. And base 4, again, also has white as its first ingredient. And so it doesn't look as creamy as the other ones look. But white is the first ingredient, which means that there's more white in it than the other colors. So let's take a look at this. This one is also a reddish color, but I would say a little cooler looking than base 3. And as you can see, again, this color really holds up its mass tone. The full strength of the color is not very different from the diluted look of the color. It holds pretty true, but over here, I would say it's definitely like a little more orangey, a little lighter, and over here it really looks like a nice true red. So what I would say, just off the top of my head without really knowing the science that went behind all of these colors, is that these guys here are going to be your main modifiers, even though these are called mods. When I say modifiers, I mean like your neutralizers, the colors that you're using to neutralize. And then these are going to be the ones that you use to adjust. And here they're called mods. So we'll say modifiers here. These are the ones that you're going to be using to modify these colors, and I would probably doubt that you use these alone, mostly because of the high titanium content, but these are such strong, vibrant colors that a few drops of these to negotiate these colors a little bit probably really do the trick. Once again, this set is the Embody set, and it is created by Permablend with Sculpted Studios. There's a companion course that goes with this. Carla from Sculpted Studios has put a lot of time, effort, science, and testing into these colors and into the course. And so again, I would not use any of these colors without taking that class first and having a strong understanding of your color theory. And if you'd like to purchase these from us, it's teachmepmu.com, and you can order these. Put in the code Angela10 for 10% off.